form. Okay, so study some of the classification of transducers. Okay, how transducers are classified?
Active transducers and passive.
Yes, active transducers and passive
Passive.
transducers. And one more classification,
Analog and digital.
analog and digital. Okay, so there are two types of classification. One is active and passive, and another one is digital and analog transducers. Okay, so what do you mean by active transducers?
Which uses active devices.
Which uses active
Active.
devices. Okay, no, not like that. Like it is capable of generating its own supply. Okay, these transducer does not require any external supply for their actuation. Okay, they are capable of producing their own energy that is required for the operation of the transducers. That is what is active transducers. Whereas passive transducers, they cannot conduct on their own. They require some external source for their conduction. So that is the reason why they are called as passive transducers. In case of analog transducers and digital transducers, analog transducers, it's going to convert the output. So it's going to convert the signals, that is the input signals, to the corresponding output. That is the output will be the function, it will be the analog form, which is a function of continuous function of time. The output in case of the analog to digital converters will be in the form of continuous function of time. It will be in the analog form, which is a continuous function of time. Whereas in case of digital transducers, the output is in the form of digital form, that is it's in the form of pulses. Okay. So this is about the classification. So we discuss one more topic. What is that? There is some important factors which has to be considered for selecting the transducer for the particular application. So can you list out some of the points which is used for classification? Sorry, which is used for the selection of transducer?
Operating principle,
Yeah,
sensitivity,
very good.
accuracy,
Operating principle, sensitivity, accuracy. Good.
operating range,
Others?
error, loading effect.
Yeah, operating range, error. Yes, loading effect. Good. Then, then what else? It should be capable of withstanding the environmental conditions. Okay, stability and reliability. That is, it should have a long life. Okay, so depending upon the particular application, we are going to select the range of the principle of operation of the transducer. Okay, similarly range. So we should know the range of the transducer before selecting, because for a particular application, a particular range only has to be selected. If you select some range and you operate it for the different application, the transducer will not give a proper results. Okay. Similarly, sensitivity. It should be highly sensible for the changes in the output. It is, and then it should not depend on any external parameters. Okay, it should be insensitive. So these are some of the parameters which has to be considered while selecting the transducer. So next, let us move on to the types of transducer. So here in this chapter, we are going to study different types of transducer. That is temperature transducers, speed transducers, okay, and some of the photovoltaic and photoconductive cells. So there are these are the different types of transducers which we are going to study here. So today, let us study about the classification of transducers. First, let us study about temperature transducer. So these transducers are particularly used for the measurement of temperature. So these transducers are used for the application of measurement of temperatures. Wherever temperature is need to be measured, so we are going to use temperature transducers. So these temperature transducers, they are further classified. There are different types of temperature transducers. There are further classification under this temperature transducers. So what are those? Those are resistance temperature detector, or it's also called as electrical resistance thermometer. Okay, this electrical resistance thermometer is also called as resistance temperature detector. Just a minute. I'll enter something. So resistance temperature detector is one of the type of temperature transducers. Then it is further classified as semiconductor thermometer and thermocouple, thermistors, radiation pyrometers. So these are the different types of temperature transducers. These classifications comes under the temperature transducer itself. Okay, so under types of transducer, temperature transducer is one of the thing. Under temperature transducer, there are different types of temperature transducers available. That is, first one is the electrical resistance thermometer. It's also called as resistance temperature detector. Okay. Then semiconductors, thermocouples, thermistors, radiation pyrometers. So these are the different types of temperature transducer which you are going to study today. So first let us know what is this temperature transducer and how these operates. Okay. So first let us study about the first type of transducer, that is electrical resistance thermometer. Okay. Or resistance temperature detector. It's also called as resistance temperature detector. So what is this resistance temperature detector? So you can see here resistance temperature detectors. So the resistances of the conductors changes. Here in case of this resistance temperature detector, the resistance of the conductor changes whenever its temperature changes. So that is the reason why it's called as resistance temperature detector. So whenever the resistance changes, resistance of the conductor changes, the temperature varies. So due to the changes in the resistance, it's going to detect the temperature. The temperature change is completely dependent on the resistance change of the conductor. Okay, so this property is used for measuring the temperature in case of this resistance temperature detector. The variation in the temperature is detected by varying the resistance of the conductor. So whenever the resistance of the conductor is changed, the temperature automatically changes. So this property, this change in the resistance conductivity, resistor conductor is used for measuring the temperature in case of resistance temperature detector. Okay, so this is also expressed by an equation. Here you can see the variation of the resistance temperature can be measured by using this equation. Okay, whatever variation that occurs in case of the resistance temperature detector, that is measured by an equation. R is equal to R naught into 1 plus alpha 1 into T plus alpha 2 into T square plus alpha 3 into T cube plus like that it continues up to alpha n into T to the power of n. So this is the equation which is used to measure the resistance of the temperature. Okay, resistance of the conductor or the to determine the temperature changes in case of resistance temperature detector. So it is given by this equation where your R naught is the resistance at the temperature T is equal to 0. Okay, R naught determines the resistance at the temperature T is equal to 0. So when there is no change in the temperature, it's constant temperature, that is 0. Okay. Under initial condition, what is the resistance? That is denoted by R naught. Alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3 are the constants. Okay, these are the constants. And the requirement for the conductor material to be used as resistance temperature detectors are. So here, also whatever material we are going to select, so whatever the cable conductors we are going to use, so that material should have some uh, it has to satisfy some parameters. So what are those? Let us look into those things. So the conductor, what we are going to select for the temperature resistance detectors, in case of the temperature resistance detector, it should have the following characteristics. Just a minute, I'll admit. In the late entry ಆಗ್ತಿರಲ್ರೋ. So here you can see the requirement of the conductor material to be used as so whatever material conductor material you're going to use, what all it should exhibit, what are the characteristics it should have. So it should have the change. So this conductor should detect the change in the resistance of the material per unit change in the temperature should be large as possible. So the change in the resistance of the material. So the material whatever we are going to use, that change in the whatever change that occurs in case of the material of the conductor, that should change in the temperature, that is the change in the temperature and the resistance change, it should be very large as possible. So smaller change in the resistance of the conductor should detect the larger change in the temperature. Okay, so next the material should have high values of resistivity. So the conductor material what we are going to use in case of this temperature resistance detector, that material should have high value of the resistivity. So that minimum volume of the material is used for the construction. Why we should have high value of resistivity? So the smaller piece of the material itself should have high resistive capability, so that this size of the this conductor material can be reduced, because a smaller conductive material only will be having higher resistivity. So that a small, if you select a small piece of the conductor material with high resistivity, that is enough, so that it could in turn reduce the size of the temperature resistance detectors. Okay, so that is one of the parameter. First thing is we have the change in the resistance of the material per unit change in the temperature should be large. So whatever small change in the resistance of the material will occur, that should result in the large change in the temperature. Okay, then the difference between those two should be large, and then the material what we have to select, what we are going to select for the as a conductor for the resistance temperature detector, that material should exhibit high value of resistivity, so that it will result in the reduction in the volume of the material, that is the conductor material, whatever is required for the construction. Okay, next is the material which is used for this resistance temperature detector should have a continuous and stable relationship with temperature, because this temperature, hello, because this temperature resistance temperature detector is completely based upon the change in the resistance of the material. So it works on the principle of the change in the resistance of the conductor. So whenever there is a change in the resistance of the conductor, it detects the, so what it is, and right, whenever there is a change in the temperature, that will be detected by the resistance of the material. So there will be change in the resistance of the material. By using that change in the resistance of the material, we can detect the change in the temperature. So temperature transducers, in case of temperature transducers, we can measure the temperature by changing the resistance of the conductor. So there is some change in the temperature that exists, what happens that there will be a change in the resistance of the conductor. So whenever this change in the resistance of the conductor occurs, we can say that there is some change in the temperature. In this way, this transducer temperature resistance detector, that is a temperature transducer, it's going to detect the changes in the temperature. So for that reason, this material should have a continuous and stable relationship with temperature. So all the minute changes that occurs in case of the temperature, it should be sensed by this resistance. Whatever we are going to use, what this conductor should sense that changes. Okay, so if the material whatever is selected for the resistance temperature detector, if it exists all these if it consists of all these parameters, then we can use that material for measuring the temperature in case of temperature transducer. So how that resistance value is detected is by using this formula. So here in this formula you can easily understand. So this is an initial resistance, is whatever we are going to select when the temperature is 0. So whenever there is a small change occurs in the temperature, that change we are going to note it here. And we are going to measure, multiply it by a constant. Similarly, the second change in the temperature, third change in the temperature, like that. If the keeps on temperature changes exist, right? So that will be multiplied by the resistance at the temperature 0. So this value, after doing the simplification, whatever value we get, that will be the resistance of the whatever is resistance of the conductor, which is used for measuring the temperature in case of RTDs. RTD means resistance temperature detector. So what is the material usually used for this type of transducer? So usually the materials of gold. So which material exhibit all these parameters? Let us look into those. So gold is very good material which can be used, which is rarely used as its resistivity is low. This is one of the material which can be used in case of resistance temperature detector. Whereas tungsten has high resistivity, but it is reserved for measuring only high temperature ranges, as it is brittle and difficult to work with it. Okay, so gold can be used, but gold has a very, the resistivity of the gold is very less. So we cannot use gold. So gold is rarely used, whereas tungsten can be used, but it has high resistivity, but it can be used only for measuring higher ranges of the temperature. It is brittle and difficult to work with it. So tungsten is also not selected. So platinum is commonly used material which can withstand high temperature, and it has an excellent stability. Okay, so out of all these materials, platinum is selected as one of the best material for using it as a for measuring the temperature in case of this RTDs. Okay, so usually the best material which is used is platinum, because this platinum has high resistivity, like it has a good resistivity, and it can withstand high temperature, whereas it has good stability. Okay, sometimes also platinum nickel alloy is used. Okay, platinum nickel alloy combination is also used sometimes. Okay, platinum is the best choice out of all these material. So now let us look into the construction of this RTD, that is resistance temperature detector. Okay, so this is the diagram for that resistance temperature detector. Okay, so this is the diagram. Here you can see. So usually it is of probe type. Okay, it is of probe type so that they can be immersed in the medium where the temperature is to be measured. So how this resistance temperature detector is it's look like a probe, so that it can be easily immersed in the medium wherever the temperature has to be measured. It can be easily immersed in that medium where the temperature is to be measured. So in this type, what happens, this type of thermometers, it's nothing but it's a type of thermometer. So what happens, the sensing element will be platinum. Okay, the sensing element whatever is used is platinum, that will be coated with ceramic material, and the resistance of the wire, whatever probe we are going to use, that will be coated. Okay, resistance wire is wound over a coated tube. We have a tube inside that. See, you can look into this diagram here. Okay, this outer is a shield like medium where it has to be inserted. So this is a probe. What you are seeing here, this is a probe which is inserted in a medium where temperature has to be measured. Okay, so usually in this type of thermometer, the sensing element, whatever is there, that will be platinum. Okay, this platinum, it will be coated with the ceramic material, and the resistance wire, whatever will be there inside this probe. So it is wound over a coated tube, and it is finished. Okay, winding is again coated with ceramic material. Okay, it is coated with a tube, and again this winding is coated again with the ceramic material, and the entire assembly is placed at the tip of the probe. So this is the entire probe what you're seeing here. Okay, in at the tip of this probe, the sensing element will be placed. Sensing element is nothing but the platinum. This platinum will be coated with the ceramic material. Okay, after that, over that again it will be coated by the resistance wire which is wound over that particular sensing element, and that will be again coated by the ceramic material. Okay, and the entire assembly will be placed inside the it will be placed at the tip of the probe, and this will be protected by the shield sensing element. You can see a box like structure here. Okay, inside this the sensing element will be there, and over that sensing element the resistance wire will be wound around it. That resisting wire again it will be coated with the ceramic coating. Okay, and then that will be placed at the tip of the probe. Okay, and this coating will be again given a shield of protection that will be like it will be provided by the shield. So that this entire box, whatever you're seeing here, this will be the sensing element, which is placed at the tip of the probe. So at the edge of the probe, it is placed here. Okay, so this will be placed at so the probe, whatever it will be there, at the tip of this thing, all these sensing elements will be placed. The sensing element will be bonded with the sensing element is nothing but the platinum here. Okay, usually I told you in case of resistance temperature detector to determine the temperatures, we are going to use platinum because it has high stability, like high resistivity, and it can withstand all the higher temperatures, and also it has a good stability. That is, it can withstand all the other changes in the temperature and all those things. It can be withstand. So this sensing element usually will be placed at the tip of the probe, and the sensing element again it will be coated, like it will be wound with a resistance wire, and that resistance wire will be coated with the ceramic, and that entire part whatever is there which consists of the sensing element, that will be covered by the shield. Okay, that will be covered by the shield, and this is called as a sensing element. The entire unit is called as sensing element. This sensing element will be immersed in a medium wherever the temperature has to be measured. So in this way the resistance temperature detector is going to work. So here what we have to say main thing is ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ resistance temperature detector ಅಂದ್ರೆ it works on the principle of change in the resistance of the conductor. Okay, whenever there is a change in the resistance of the conductor, it says that there is a change in the temperature. Okay, so that can be measured by using that equation R is equal to R naught into 1 plus alpha into t plus alpha 2 into t square, like that up to alpha n into t power n. It is an equation which is used to find out the resistance value. Okay, depending upon that resistance value only we can determine what is the change in the temperature. So here, firstly, we'll write what it is and what principle it works, and what are the characteristics that the material should exhibit. You have to write that. So whatever material that is used for sensing the temperature in case of resistance temperature detector, it has to have the following parameter. It has to meet the following requirement. What is that? So the material whatever is used, it should be highly sensible, so the small change in the resistance of the conductor and the change in the temperature should be large. So whatever small change that exists in case of the resistances, that change with respect to the temperature should be large. Okay, and then the material should be capable of withstanding high temperatures also. So these are some of the things what the material has to, what is the conductor whatever is selected as a conductor whichever is selected for resistance temperature detector, it has to exhibit these characteristics. After selecting the material, so out of these things, usually the sensing element for in case of resistance temperature detectors, it will be either usually there are three types of materials which can be used: gold, tungsten, and platinum. But out of all these things, platinum is selected as the best material because it has high resistivity, it can withstand high temperatures, and it has a good stability. Hence, platinum is used, and sometimes also platinum and nickel combination can be alloy combination can be used here. So now let us after writing all these points, you have to explain about the construction of this, how it is placed. So this outer part, what you're seeing is, see, you can look into this diagram. It is just like a thermometer, right? It is just like a thermometer. So here, this particular probe type thing, whatever you're inserting, it's nothing but the thermometer. Okay, at the end of the thermometer, if you look into, you can see some sensing elements placed, right? So here also, according to the resistance temperature transducer, as I told you, platinum is the best element. Hence, the sensing element is selected as platinum, and that sensing element will be placed at the tip of this probe, this probe or tube, you can say. Okay, at the tip of the tube, the platinum will be placed. So this platinum will be again coated with some resistance wire. It will be wound with some resistance wire which is made up of ceramic material. Okay, this resistance wire will be again coated with ceramic. Okay, so and that complete thing, it is nothing but it is called as a sensing element. So that is the thing which is going to sense the temperature changes. Okay, this entire unit will be placed inside the medium where the temperature has to be measured. So this is how a resistance temperature detector is going to work. The next one is the semiconductor thermometers. Okay, semiconductor thermometers. So here, the commonly used materials which acts as semiconductor thermometers are silicon and germanium. Is used as an electronic circuits which can be used as temperature sensors. Okay, so here semiconductors can be used for measuring temperature as they have large temperature coefficients and are highly sensitive to temperature variations. Okay, these semiconductor materials can be used for measuring temperature because they have large temperature coefficients and they are highly sensitive to the temperature variation that occurs. Okay, so here you can look. I told you there are two materials which can be used as semiconductor thermometers. Okay, so why these are selected? So this there are two types: silicon and germanium. So silicon crystals can be used to measure the temperature. Okay, temperature ranges which is ranging between minus 48 degrees Celsius to 252 degrees Celsius. Okay, temperature. Silicon ಯಾವಾಗ use ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ silicon can be used whenever you want to measure the temperature. So whenever the temperature whatever you're measuring, if it is ranging between this range, that is minus 48 degree to 252 degrees Celsius ವರೆಗೂ range ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ರೆ, you are going to select silicon as the best material. Okay, but when the temperature is ranging between is below 25 degree Kelvin, you can use germanium. No, no. ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬರ್ತೀನಿ. Okay, so these are the semiconductor thermometers. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು explanation, I mean, we don't have to explain how it works and all those things. So all the temperature resistance detector, like all the temperature transducer works in the same similar principle only here. Okay, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ in place of the platinum, you're going to place these materials inside of this probe. You're going to place a silicon or germanium, based upon for which type of temperature or which range temperature you have to measure. Based on that, you have to use it. Okay, silicon is used for the measuring the temperature, that is, which is ranging from minus 48 degrees Celsius to 250 degrees Celsius, whereas germanium can be used for temperature below 25 degree Kelvin. Okay, whenever the temperature we are going to measure is below the range, that is 25 degree Kelvin, you have to use germanium as the sensing element. Okay. Next, coming to thermocouples. See, this is a very important topic, thermocouples. In case of temperature transducers, this is one of the important thing what you should understand. Just a minute. So thermocouples, as the name itself say, have you studied about thermocouples? Do you know how thermocouple works? What is the function of thermocouples?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me, what is thermocouples?
Ma'am, two different metals are coupled, ma'am. There will be some potential difference across open ends and closed ends, ma'am.
Very good, huh?
Due
Yeah.
to that, temperature difference can be sensed.
Yes, very good. So thermocouples ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ two different metals will be used. Okay, two dissimilar metals, not similar metal. Two dissimilar metals will be used. Okay, so these two metals will be joined at one end, and there, what happens? There will be a temperature difference. So one metal will be placed at a lower temperature. That is one thermo. Like when thermo means heat energy. You can look into this. Heat ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ನೇಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, the one element will be at a lower temperature and other will be certain higher temperature than whatever other element is having. So the temperature, whenever the temperature difference exists between these two metals, which is placed at end, so what happens, this potential difference is going to induce an EMF, which causes the current to flow in the circuit, and this will sense the temperature difference. So how it works andre, it works on this principle, like the difference between the temperature, that is hot and cold ಈ ಎರಡು ಮೆಟಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಇರುವಂತ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು EMF is going to be induced in the circuit, due to which the current starts flowing in the circuit, and the whatever moving coil of the current ನ ಮೆಷರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಮೀಟರ್, so that will sense the changes in the temperature and it will detect the current. Okay, so let us study what is this thermocouples ಅಂತ. So this is how a thermocouple is going to work. Thermocouple means when two dissimilar metals are joined together at one end, a potential difference exists between the open ends. Okay, so one end you are going to connect the metals, other end is left at open. Okay, so whenever the two dissimilar metals are connected, what happens? There exists some potential difference between the open ends and the closed end. That is closed end in the sense wherever you place your elements, metals. Okay, temperature are close and are at different temperature. The potential difference appears because of the difference in the work junctions. Okay, because of the difference, whatever the difference that exists between the work junctions. This principle is used for converting thermal energy into electrical quantity. So this thermocouple is mainly, it will convert the thermal energy, that is the heat energy, into electrical quantity. So when we connect two dissimilar ends, at one end and another end will be left open, so the difference between this enclosed end and the open end will will cause some temperature difference. This temperature difference will lead to conversion of thermal energy into electrical quantities. So let us look into the diagram. So there are different combinations of metals which can be used as thermocouples. Okay, you can't simply connect any of the metals as the combinations. ಎರಡು metals ಯಾವ ತರ select ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕು. Usually the metals will be of these two, rare metal and base metal types. In the ಎರಡು ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ materials which can be divided. So one will be from the rare metal combination and one will be from the base metal combination. So rare metals are platinum, iridium, rhodium, all these comes under rare metal types, and base metals are copper, iron, constantine. ಈ ತರ different metals use ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. Okay, so the for industrial purpose application, several combinations of two dissimilar metals are used for making thermocouples. Materials which can be used are these things. Okay, one is rare metal and another one is base metals. Okay, there will be two metals which has to be considered here. Okay, so here you can look into the diagram. So here this is a hot junction here, this side. Okay, thermocouple sensing junction, and we consider this as the cold junction, reference junction, cold junction. Open ends ಅಂತ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಅದು. Okay, hot junction ಅಲ್ಲಿ we have connected two dissimilar metals, iron and constantine. Thermocouple sensing junction. This is a hot junction which is going to produce heat energy. From the figure, we can observe that the thermocouple is formed by combining two different metals, iron and constant, and the different reference junction is kept at a known constant cold temperature, such as melting ice. Okay, here we are going to keep the temperature of melting ice. We are going to consider the temperature of melting ice. Okay, and the sensing junction is kept at higher junction. This is the sensing junction. This part is kept at the higher temperature than the reference temperature. So whatever temperature is here, so some temperature higher than this reference temperature will be kept at this sensing junction. Okay. Is so here you can see when the reference junction is terminated. Reference junction is terminated by an indicating instrument. So this will initially it will be kept at an open condition. So this can be terminated by connecting a meter here. Any meter you can connect here, indicating meter. The temperature is so here whenever when the reference junction is terminated by an indicating instrument, the meter indication is proportional to the temperature difference. So whatever temperature difference that exists there, according to that temperature difference, the required current or the voltage will be sensed in that particular meter, whatever is connected. Thus, the temperature difference existing between the two junctions produces an EMF, and this EMF causes the current to flow in the circuit. So you can look here. So what happens initially, we are going to keep one temperature here at this particular point, that is cold temperature, and this is a hot temperature. Okay, we are going to join two metals here and we are going to close this junction, and another junction will be left open initially. But after some time, what we can do is so usually will be initially we are going to keep the temperature of here as one of the temperature that is lesser and another temperature which is higher than this part. And after sometimes, instead of keeping this open circuit, what we are going to do, we are going to connect a meter across this. So what happens, we are going to get a closed path here. Initially, the open circuit irutte. When you connect an indicating meter, what happens, it completes the loop. You get a loop here. So once what happens, if you are connected the meter and the closed loop there exists some temperature difference between these two. Okay, so this temperature difference causes an EMF in the circuit, which makes the current to flow in the circuit. Okay, so that whatever temperature difference that exists between these two, according to that temperature difference, the required amount of the current flows in the circuit. That current will be indicated in this meter, whatever is connected across the cold junction. Hot and cold junction. So this is how a thermometer, thermocouple will work. This is a very important topic here in this chapter. Okay, so that magnitude of the thermal EMF produced depend upon whatever material you use and also the temperature difference between that. So whatever final quantity you are going to measure, that current whatever will be indicated in the meter, that is dependent on the two parameters. One is the material, what type of material you have selected, and another one is the temperature difference that exists between those two materials. So that gives you the magnitude of the quantity, and that can be expressed by the equation E is equal to, E is the induced EMF. Okay, E is equal to AT. Okay, A or B, C and all these things are the constant. T is the temperature of the sensing junction. Whatever this part. Temperature is sensed at this particular. This is called as a sensing junction. Okay, whatever temperature is sensed, that will be indicated. So that you have to enter there and you have to calculate the magnitude of the quantity. Okay, so this is about thermocouples. So there is one more thing, that is thermistors. Okay, similar to thermocouples, thermistor is one of the other type of the resistor, that is the temperature type transducer, which is used for measuring the temperature. Okay, it is the contraction of the term thermal resistors. Thermistor, it's nothing but a combination of two terms, that is thermal resistor, heat. It also works on the principle of heating, like sensing the heats. So they are ceramic materials like semiconductor devices and have negative temperature coefficients. Decrease in the value of resistance as temperature increases. So negative temperature coefficients are there is if there is a decrease in the value of the resistance, there will be a value of decrease in the value of the resistance when the temperature will increase. That is what is negative temperature coefficient is termed as. Okay, so they are ceramic like semiconductors. These are thermistors, and they are nothing but ceramic like semiconductor devices, and they have negative temperature coefficient. Negative temperature coefficients are they like they work whenever in this way, that whenever there is a decrease in the temperature resistance, the temperature will increase. Inversely proportional principle will work out there. So this allows the thermistor circuits to detect very small changes in the temperature, which could not be observed using resistance temperature detectors and thermocouples. So out of these two, that is whatever you have studied earlier, RTDs ಮತ್ತು thermocouples compare ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ thermistor is very capable of detecting very small temperature changes. ಆಯ್ತಾ? So whatever small temperature changes that could not be detected by the RTDs as well as thermocouples, that can be detected using this thermistors, which will sense a very small change. That is a very small change in the resistor can be detected by this type of thermistors. Okay, thermistors can measure the temperature ranges from minus 60 degree to 15 degree Celsius. And the resistance of the thermistors of 0.5 ohm to 0.75 mega ohm ranges. Okay, the resistance whatever we are going to use for the thermistors will be of the range 0.5 to 0.75 mega ohm. So this can be used as a thermistors. The resistance of the ranges 0.5 ohm to 0.75 ohm is used, and these thermistors can measure the temperature ranging from minus 60 degrees Celsius to 15 degree Celsius. Thermistors are made up of mixture of metal oxides like manganese, nickel, cobalt, copper, and iron, uranium, etc. These are the materials which can be used for making the thermistors. It is a mixture of two metal oxide combinations like manganese, nickel, cobalt, iron, uranium, etc. These are also available in variety of sizes and shapes such as beads, rods, disc, ಈ ತರ shapes ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Thermistors ನೀವು ಈ ತರ ನೋಡಬಹುದು. It will be in this type. ಇದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it looks like a ceramic capacitor. I showed you in the lab. ಆ shape ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Normal disc shape resistors ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ತರ rod shape ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So in this way it is available. So ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ explanation ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. Just you have to write about what is the function of the thermistors. Okay. So this is about thermistors. So thermistors can be used for measuring the temperature very small. It can also detect a very small temperature ranges which cannot be detected by RTDs and thermocouples. Okay, and they work on the principle of they have what negative temperature coefficients. They are ceramic like semiconductor devices, and also they have a negative temperature coefficient, that is it senses the temperature, that is with the whenever there is a decrease in the temperature there will be an increase, sorry, whenever there is a decrease in the resistance temperature increases inversely proportional. It works on this principle, and it can be used for measuring the ranges, that is minus from minus 60 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius, and the resistance which is used for the thermistors will be of the range 0.5 ohm to 0.75 mega ohm ranges. Okay, and the materials which can be used for the thermistors are manganese, nickel, cobalt, iron, etc. So they are available in variety of shapes and sizes, like rods, beads, etc. So the resistance characteristics for the thermistors is like ಈ ತರ measure ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಈ equation use ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು measure ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. R is equal to R naught into exponential of overall beta into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. There's a difference between two metals, whatever combination of two metal oxides, what I'm going to use. Okay, T1 and T2. The difference between those two into beta. So this is about thermistors. Okay, so you'll go to there, you can look into this. Yes. Okay, radiation pyrometer is the next type of device which can be used for measurement of temperature. Okay, this type of transducer, temperature transducer is used whenever you need to measure the temperature of higher ranges. Okay, and the physical contact with the medium is not possible. So directly when you can't measure this type of, whenever you can't measure the temperature, that is ಇವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ you studied about RTDs. RTDs ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ wherever you need to measure the temperature, you inserted that probe, through that you could measure the temperature. So wherever it is not possible to have a physical contact with the medium where you have to measure temperature, you can use this type of temperature transducer, that is radiation pyrometers. Okay, so this can be used for measuring a very high temperature. So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, high temperature ranges ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಾಗ you cannot touch it directly, or you cannot go to that, you cannot go inside that medium, like or inside that room wherever the temperature is of very high ranges. So at that cases you can use this radiation pyrometer instrument. Okay, so in such cases a non-contact type of sensors which make use of the thermal radiation method or optical radiation methods are commonly used. ಇವಾಗ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, the temperature will be of very high, boiling temperatures, ಅದನ್ನ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, it will be of very high ranges. So there you cannot directly go and insert the medium or inside a probe inside that, and you cannot go in contact with that medium where you have to measure the temperature. At that cases you can use this radiation pyrometers to measure the temperatures. Okay, so you can look here the applications where you can use this radiation pyrometers, and it is commonly used in aerospace and some industrial applications. Okay, ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ there will be two type, ಇದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಥರ್ಮೋಕಪಲ್ಸ್ ತರನೇ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಹಾಟ್ ಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಂತಿದ್ರಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಅ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ಇಯರ್. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ ಶೇಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಇಯರ್. ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್, ದ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕೋಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಟೂ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಕಲರ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಅಂಡ್ ವೈಟ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ತರ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ಲಿ ದೇ start painting it with white and black things. Okay, so whenever there exists some difference between the temperature, black ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ hot ಅನ್ನತ್ತರ, hot junction and cold junction ತರ. So the which is left free without painting anything, that part will be considered as cold junction, and the part wherever we are going to coat with black color, that will be considered as the hot junction. So whenever the temperature difference exists between this black body, that is the hot black and white, temperature difference exists between those two bodies, what happens, there exists some EMF, the potential difference exists. So this potential difference is going to induce an EMF in the circuit. Same like thermocouples tarane idu work agutte. Ille enagutte andre a medium melene we are going to coat it as black and white color. So whenever the heat is sensed by the black body, so there exists some temperature difference between this cold junction and the hot junction. Illi like we say that black and white anta ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಟ್ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಆ ತರ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವೈಟ್ ಕೋಟಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಆ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ ಮೇಲೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ದಟ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಇಂಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅನ್ EMF in the circuit. Okay, that is measured by this equation. You can look here. That is ETH and the thermal, okay, is equal to Ks. K is the Stephen Boltzmann constant, which is given by the value 57.2 into 10 power minus 6 watt per meter square. Okay, T is the temperature of the black body. So this is the temperature sensed by the black body. Okay. So in this way, this radiation temperature pyrometers will work. Okay. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮುಗಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಉಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಫೋಟೋ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್, ಫೋಟೋವೋಲ್ಟೈಕ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟಾಗಿ ಮುಗಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಇವತ್ತು ಯಾವ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೀ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ನೀವು? ಟಿಲ್ ವಾಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಟುಡೇ?